Hey Nick, how's everything going, man?
Going pretty good, Scott. How you doing?
I'm doing fantastic, bud. I'm real excited. It's a big launch week for the new version of your muscle explosion program. I believe it to be it's got to be the most unique muscle building program out there that really complements just about any workout program that you're currently following. I know I've got a lot of metabolic masterpiece physique freaks who are actually following your program right now, the previous version, and they're all loving it. And I couldn't be more excited to get this out there. It's been a program that I've used multiple times. I believe the first time I used it was back in 2008, and that was coming off. I was really doing a lot of like the mainstream short burst workouts. So my body really responded incredibly well. I gained 6.5 pounds of muscle in the 28 days, which blew my mind. Everyone who's been following me knows that I am a hard gainer, and gaining that kind of mass in a short period of time just doesn't happen for me. So very, very excited to talk a bit more about the version 2.0. And for people who are not familiar with you and the Muscle Explosion program, give them a little bit more insights and details into the program. So first I want to talk about like the unique structure of your program. I know for myself and a lot of other muscle building programs that I follow, it seems to be like a set plan, whether it's 3 days a week, 4 days a week, 5 days a week. It's a set structure, weekly structure, and you follow that same structure every single week. But yours, it's pretty much, I mean, it's almost changing every single week. There's what, 3 different training styles throughout the 4 different weeks. Do you want to talk a bit about the benefits to incorporating a variety and changing up the type of training every single week?
Absolutely. And you hit the nail right on the head, is that most programs kind of follow just a set pattern that they just continuously go through, whereas this program is actually based on an overtraining template. And in order to do that, you need to really use different training styles to take advantage of the different parts of the overtraining format. For example, for the first week of training that you're doing, you're actually also doing a very strict low calorie, low carb diet. This is going to set up massive deprivation in your body, so that when you actually come back and reload everything, that's when your body like refills and builds a lot more muscle. So what we're doing to start with is the training is very targeted to what you're eating. So the first week your training is going to try and pull all the glycogen out of your system. It's very much fat loss oriented training. It's going to be moderate weight and moderate reps, but with a lot of cardio in between sets. So you're actually not resting at all in between any of the sets. It sounds crazy for a muscle building program to do this kind of thing, but what we're trying to do is actually set up the next phase. So that's what a lot of muscle building programs don't do, is they keep a more continuous kind of approach to it. And there's nothing wrong with that, but what we're trying to set up is a slingshot effect. We're going for a big rebound, and we're going to set that up via training and via diet. So you're doing this style of training, and then you're moving on to a lactic acid style of training where the idea is growth hormone. So that's more the focus of the second bit of that. So literally you're training, doing 2 different training styles within the course of the same week. Then another one the second week, and then another 3 different ones the third and fourth week. So we're pretty much constantly changing things up.
Yeah, it was a shock to me when I first got your program, and then I saw the first week. I'm like, fat loss? What the hell? I've been doing all this training for fat loss. Now I'm finally ready to build muscle. What the heck is going on here? But it really did prime my body to really maximize the benefits of every phase afterwards. And it's really, I didn't have as much of a understanding back then, but now that I've gone through preparing for multiple photo shoots, bodybuilding contests, I really fully understand the benefits of, or what goes on with the whole rebound effect as well. So it's very cool to have this programmed in there. Now, would you say, like we're talking muscle gains, and I gained 6.5 pounds of muscle in that time. Any idea of how much of that would be like actual muscle tissue, or do you think a lot of it is just soaking in the glycogen and water in your body? Any kind of indication of that?
I would say you're probably looking at about half and half. Well, there's definitely a lot of water coming in too with the rebound effect that we're going for from the first week to the second week. As you move into the third and fourth weeks, the training is designed to kind of, quote unquote, consolidate that mass that you built, that lean tissue and water gain and everything, to solidify and just make those gains permanent.
Right.
So, beyond just the water and the other stuff that you're gaining the second week, you're actually purposefully trying to, like I said, for lack of a better word, solidify those gains during the third and fourth week. So, I would say if you gain 6.5 pounds, a good half of that is going to be actual muscle.
Right.
Just because of the intensity and the volume of the training that you do.
As a smaller guy, I'm looking for maximizing my gains in every way possible, and gaining some of that muscle cell volume through water and glycogen. It is a big deal for me. Even though it might not be contractile tissue, it's still visual muscle gains. So a lot of people kind of discount that, and they're just looking for the muscle density, the true muscle growth. But I think they're leaving a lot of results on the table, especially when it comes to visual, impressive muscle gains.
Yeah.
Now, how about the importance of strengthening your tendons? Because I see a lot of people will focus their follow programs and their muscles grow at a pretty rapid rate, but their tendons can't really keep up, and that tends to lead to a lot of injuries. Do you want to talk a little bit about that and your style of training that kind of helps strengthen the tendons along with the muscle growth at the same time?
Yeah, and you hit the nail on the head with that. It's actually a really big issue, and it's a major cause of injury and also plateaus in strength. When you're doing a program that doesn't directly target connective tissue with training, then you do tend to hit plateaus. And, not that anybody's going to be using steroids who's listening to this, but this is one of the major reasons that steroid users get injuries, is that their muscles grow at a lot faster rate than their connective tissue can strengthen to accommodate that resistance. So what we're going to do here, in addition to the rest of the muscle type of training, is also target the connective tissue with very, very heavy 95 to 98% of your 1 rep max type of training. And this is going to be done in the third and fourth week. And it is very much targeted to not only building strength in your muscles and targeting your nervous system for peak strength, you're actually going to be hitting your connective tissue as well, because the training style I've got in there is going to allow you to use 95 to 98% of your 1 rep max for about double the volume that you normally could, and for full range. So you're looking at I'll give you an example here. It's called single rep cluster training, where basically you're doing 1 rep, 30 seconds rest, 1 rep, 30 seconds rest, 1 rep, 30 seconds rest, until you've done 4 to 6 reps with a weight you normally could get maybe 2 or 3 reps with. So you're literally doubling the volume that you're working those near max sets with, and it's really, really good for the connective tissue, because it forces a lot more blood into that connective tissue and helps with growth and recovery.
Excellent, man. Outstanding, brother. How about overtraining? Let's talk a bit about overtraining, and as well the benefits of kind of hitting the same exercise day after day, multiple days throughout the week. I've been hearing a lot lately. There's a lot more talk about, I think there's a book, squat every day type thing, and I'm starting to hear a little bit more about the benefits of that style of training, but you were the first person I came across. I mean, we're talking 6 years ago, where I'm like, what the hell is he having me do here? And oftentimes I really enjoy I'll use deadlifts, and to see my deadlift go up every single day, it was mind-blowing. And my body, what was more interesting than seeing my strength go up every day was where I was feeling the muscle soreness the next day as well. It started legs as usual, and then kind of like by the end of the week, it's like my obliques were sore, my lats were killing me, and my traps. It's like, holy smokes, man. It's like my entire body was adapting. It's like a new muscle is kind of helping compensate each day. So talk a bit about overtraining, the benefits of doing so when it's strategic, and kind of using the same exercise day after day type thing, the benefits of that.
Absolutely. And as I kind of alluded to before, the second week of this program is very much a high-volume type of training, and it is going to build on what you did for depriving yourself that first week, because that first week is basically all about setting up the second week, which is really all about building the muscle and strength. It's really the engine that drives this whole program is that second week of training, and we're setting it up with that first week. When you're working up towards overtraining, I kind of liken it to a car going up a hill where you got the pedal floored and you're going really slow going up this steep hill. That's the first week. As you come, to the very peak, this is the second week. This is where the massive volume comes in, and this is where you're hitting that overtraining point. Once you get to that point, pull back, push down the other side with that pedal still floored. So you're building up a lot of momentum, but you're not using it until you hit the other side and you start recovering from that massive overload in the second week that you set up with a massive diet, with low carbs, with everything that kind of builds up to it. When you get to the training for that second week, like you mentioned, you're going to be doing one exercise 5 days in a row. You're going to be doing 200 plus sets of that one exercise. And it sounds absolutely insane, and it absolutely is insane.
Yep.
The first time I did this, I had done this training style for one day, and it was just awesome. It was brutal. And I thought, who else would think, oh, let's do this 5 days in a row? That's got to be great. But yeah, that's what I did, and I was just blown away by the results that I got. I literally, like Scott said, increased my deadlift every single day until I got to the fourth day, and then the volume caught up to me. But for 4 days in a row, I was actually increasing the amount of weight I could do on my deadlift. And in addition to building the muscle, the reason your strength levels go up is not necessarily that you're building the muscle, but your nervous system is getting so tuned to that exercise that you're really greasing the groove on it. You're learning that movement, your body will learn that movement perfectly because that is all that it has to adapt to. And when you think about it, if you're putting 100% of your adaptive energy into one exercise that you just loaded your whole body after this massive deprivation and it just sucking up every nutrient that you've got, if you're taking creatine, you're taking glutamine, you're taking everything all at once, this is a hyper-anabolic time for your body. And then you hit it with the biggest exercises like squats or deadlifts that you can do to build mass for 5 days in a row. I mean, I get really whipped up about this. Every time I do this program, I'm like, oh, I can't wait to get into this. And, if you're really looking for a challenge and you really love heavy lifting, you're absolutely going to love this week of training. It is going to be one of the hardest weeks of training you ever do, but you're just going to eat it up because the results will happen from all the effort that you're putting in, and you will see the scale climbing up every day. You will see the weights going onto the bar, climbing up every day. And it's just unbelievable sometimes. And so you can obviously testify to how that works. It's just a great feeling to see that. It
is. It was very exciting. And like I said, the first time around, going from mainstream type workouts to heavy deadlifting, it was a big shock to my system, but it really sparked a lot of my enthusiasm and exposed me once again to the benefits of lifting heavy weights and including that in your training. But that was a very exciting phase, and probably the phase I look forward to the most out of all. Even though it's one exercise that you're doing each week, it's exciting. It's very exciting. Now, what kind of results have you been experiencing? You followed it many times over the years. I've followed it multiple times myself, but what kind of results are pretty typical for you while following the program?
When I use this program for squats or deadlifts, I usually go up between 8 to 12 pounds in body weight every single time. And I don't use squats and deadlifts every single time. I work in other exercises as well to develop specific strength in those exercises. But the first time I did this one, my max deadlift, and I've been training more than 20 years. I've been training 24 years. My max deadlift went up 60 pounds. And, that's beginner level gains that you're seeing in somebody who's very advanced. And this is not atypical results. Other people have even done better with this program, even people who've been training 20, 30 years. I actually had one guy, 120 pounds on his max deadlift within weeks on this program, which is, I couldn't even hardly believe the results that he got with that. That just blew my mind. And in this last version of the program that I've had a number of people doing a test run through, I had a guy who was a hard gainer like yourself. He gained, I think he said 5 pounds in the first round through, and he started another round through, and he's gained another 7 pounds on top of that. And literally, this is more gains than he's made in his entire training career in the last 6 weeks. So it's really effective stuff. And as far as building strength goes, this one's kind of cool. I did this 5-day loading for front squats once. And the first day of training, you're going to be doing a weight you can normally do about 6 reps with. And I chose front squats. I did 185 pounds for 4 sets of 3 reps. And what you're going to be doing with this style of training is take that weight you can do 6 reps with, and you're going to do 3 reps with it. Then you're going to rest 30 seconds. Then you're going to do another 3 reps and rest 30 seconds. You're never going to failure. So if you ever get to the point where you can't do 3 reps, like you hit 2 and you know it's going to be hard to get 3, then you stop, you take 20 pounds off the bar, and you go again. So after 4 sets at 185 pounds, I had to drop the weight. By Friday, I had gone back to that start weight, 185 pounds, and I got 44 sets with that weight.
Wow.
Literally 11 times the strength endurance.
Yeah, it's crazy.
You know, doing 5 days in a row of the same exercise where you'd think you'd be just weak as a kitten by the end of it, but
right.
Literally, more than 10 times the endurance. It was like, holy man, I did the whole workout with that weight, and I couldn't believe it. So.
That's ridiculous, man. That is absolutely insane. Very impressive. Very impressive. Now, what you already had a system that was working incredibly well. What made you come out with version 2.0 here? What kind of modifications do you feel that needed to be made to the program to make it even better than it already was?
Yeah, and that's one of the things that I always do is I'm always trying to learn and experiment and find stuff that works better. So even as good as that program was in the original version, I think it's even a lot better now. Some of the feedback I was getting is that some of the training techniques were a bit tough to do in a crowded gym. And, I train in my basement, so I have nobody competing for equipment. There's nothing, I need to worry about with that. So what I did is I changed up some of the program to make it easier to do in a crowded gym. Like, for example, there's some training in the first round, in the first version, where you had to alternate between 2 different exercise stations. Well, if you're in a crowded gym, you can't always do that. So what I did is I changed, this is the lactic acid training, I changed it so you're just using one exercise for the entire body part all the way through. You're just changing the weight. And it makes it a lot easier to perform the workout. I think it makes it more effective as well because it keeps that focus more on the lactic acid training. And, doing a lot of research and learning, I've actually kind of modified my opinions on a few things that were in the original program. So I've changed those up, changed the focus of things, basically made it more effective for building strength on the back end here as well. So there's a very good target for doing time under tension training as you come off the second week. During that second week, obviously, your nervous system is going to be shot by the end of it. You're going to be trashed. And rather than try and make you lift anything heavy the following week, I'm actually going to have you doing time under tension training with a relatively light weight, but a lot of tension focused and specific range of motion focused exercise. If you're familiar with positions of flexion training, you're going to be doing 1 1/4 rep training within the best range of motion of those exercises. So, for example, you're doing a bench press, you're going to do the 1/4 rep at the bottom and then come back up. Then you go to flies, you do the 1/4 rep on the stretch. You do a peak contraction, static hold, and you focus on that contraction. So you're using light weight, but you're focusing on really solidifying, like I said before, the muscle tissue gains. And then you're focusing on weak point training, and you're also focusing on the strength during those weeks. So, there's some really similar stuff, but there's a lot of changes that I've made that I think have made this program quite a bit better and a lot more doable. So
that's awesome, man. And I see that's the beauty of the journey is that we're constantly learning. I see so many guys who are very stuck in their own habits, their own routines, and so married to their own belief system, they're not looking for ways to improve. And that's why I love this. I'm glad that's a great response to a reason for modifying a program to make it better based on what you're learning and just kind of altering what you thought, belief systems that you've built up over there. So that's excellent, man. Supplement. Well, first of all, no, equipment. I want to talk about equipment.
Yeah.
Well, you mentioned you're doing it in your home. It can be done in the gym. What can basically anybody do this? What kind of equipment is necessary to make this program work?
At the very least, I recommend free weights, like barbell, a couple of sets of dumbbells. You get the adjustable dumbbells, that's perfect. Literally, you can do this training program with dumbbells and a barbell and a bench, at the very least. If you've got a rack, that's even better. It gives you a lot more options. But in the first program, there was some reliance on the power rack, and I actually decided to give you options other than that because I know not everybody has access to a rack. So literally, you can do this with simple weights. And for me, I actually did have like some machines in my basement. I actually got rid of those a few years ago, so I'm just working with very simple equipment myself too these days. The most complex I get with the machine is a cable crossover weight stack, and that's it. And you don't even need that to perform this program. So really, literally very simple exercises with very simple training equipment that anybody can do anywhere. And you don't take up the entire gym by doing it. You're not jumping around and running around and trying to get all over the place all in one shot. So right. Even in the training where you're doing weight exercise and then cardio in between sets, I give you a lot of really good options that you can do not on cardio machines. For example, a version I like to use is actually dumbbell farmer's walks in between every set. So for example, you're doing a set of bench press, then you just grab your dumbbells, you walk up and down the gym floor a few times, set them down, do another set of bench press. That's your cardio. You don't necessarily have to run all the way to the treadmill or jump on the stair machine in between, because if you're in a gym, somebody's going to jump on that machine, and there's no way you're going to be able to save that for an entire workout. No, everybody's going to hate you, and it's not going to work. So I want to make sure this program works and it's practical. So I'm giving you a lot of options as far as what to use with even very simple equipment. And that was a long answer to a very easy, short question.
No, that's a great answer. I'm glad you mentioned that. I mean, I have actually never done farmer walks, and it's something that I was planning on incorporating within the next month or so. I was talking with one of my buddies at the gym there, so that sounds excellent. I'm sure that would be a good exercise to incorporate that first week, especially if you're going to be doing deadlifting the following week, just to kind of get the traps and back ready for that kind of load and punishment, I guess you could say.
Oh, yeah.
Now, how about length of the workouts? How long is a typical workout?
That's the beauty of it, is in addition to kind of tailoring what the workouts are, I've actually trimmed the time down, so you're doing very efficient training here as well. During the first week, you're looking at 25 to 30 minutes on each workout. So 4 workouts, you're done half an hour. During the second week, there's no workout longer than 40 minutes. During the third and fourth week, you're looking at about 45 minutes to an hour to get everything done. So you're not spending your whole life in the gym. You are being very focused when you're in the gym and getting a lot done while you're training. So that's really the key with this one is, not just extending out the workout and taking your time, but really doing the very focused work, following the rest periods and following the prescribed number of sets and reps, and you'll be good. So it's not going to stick you in the gym for hours and hours.
Right, that's awesome. Now, you mentioned creatine and glutamine. What kind of supplements are involved in this program?
And that's kind of the beauty of this is you can use supplements if you want to boost your results about 10 to 20%. You don't have to use supplements, though. And I've had a few people run through this program, 0 supplements, not taking anything, not even a multivitamin, and they're still getting good results. This is really all about setting up the whole thing nutritionally with food. And using just food, it's literally the most powerful thing you can put in your body because you're eating every day and you're eating lots of food every day. So by taking advantage of the food response, you don't necessarily need supplements, but adding them in can give you an extra boost over and above what you can get with that. And the supplements like creatine and glutamine, excellent, especially when used in a very targeted fashion in the program. You can also use stuff like protein. I like magnesium to add in. A lot of people are deficient in that, and adding that in can actually boost strength pretty much immediately. Stuff like fish oil, that kind of thing. This is not exotic supplements that you'll never hear of before, and you can only get like in the dark recesses of bodybuilding.com.
That's great.
It's straightforward stuff. So.
Excellent. Now, I know I've seen a lot of the female physique artists within my Metabolic Masterpiece community following the Muscle Explosion program as well and working into their yearly routine. What kind of percentage ratio do you figure are male and females following your program? Basically, is this good for women?
Program, I would say. Oh, it's absolutely great for women. It's especially coming from your audience here, women who are very familiar with heavy weight training. We don't have to tell them that they're going to look better the harder they train. Right. They already know that. So, going into this program, it's perfect for women. I've actually run a lot of women through this program, at least several hundred, and they've been all very happy with the results. It's literally, women have a lot less testosterone than men, so you need to use different pathways to build muscle than testosterone in addition to it. And that's what this program does. It creates a whole systemic response that functions, a lot of it independently from testosterone. It's the tension, it's the heavy lifting, it's the training volume. It's everything put together that takes your whole body through and pushes forward, rather than, even, think of this situation, female hard gainers. There are women who really want to build muscle, but even worse than males who are hard gainers, they have a much harder time. I've had several women who couldn't build muscle to save their life gain 2 to 3 pounds doing this program. And if you think about it, it doesn't sound like much. But if you weigh 110 pounds, that's a lot.
Yeah.
That's like, if you're 200 pounds, that's like gaining 6 to 10 pounds, in mass. So it's relatively a lot for somebody who's of that size. And, women respond very well to this type of training. And women actually really love this moderate weight approach that you get with the compound exercise overload during the second week of training, because they can really work hard. And a lot of times I find they're even more willing to work hard than their male counterparts too.
Oh, outstanding. That's awesome. That's great to hear. And I know I've only heard positive feedback from the females in my community who've been following the Muscle Explosion program. So that's great to gain some more insight on other females who are following it.
Actually, here's one quick interjection. I've actually got the natural Miss Olympia has been following the Muscle Explosion program for the past few months.
Oh, geez, right on. Outstanding.
She was looking for some different training approaches and wanted somebody else to give her something. So, she contacted me a few months back, and I put her on this program. She's been very happy with the results. So.
Oh, that's excellent. Like I said, it really is. It's a perfect complement. It's a great change of pace to anything that you're following. And that's what I really love. And that's why I like to include it at least once a year, just to really change things up. And I get excited for it. And then afterwards, I'm ready to move back onto my typical style of training. And I find that I'm even more energized for my typical form of training afterwards, just from what I've gained, the experience that comes out of the Muscle Explosion program. Is there an ideal person who would follow this program, or someone who you'd recommend don't bother following it?
Absolutely. And I'll tell you right up front, if you're a beginner, if you've got less than 6 months to a year of solid training under your belt, you can buy this program and read through it and learn from it, but I would not do it until you're physically ready for it. This is a really tough program, I'll tell you right now. And if you've only been training 6 to 8 months, your body is not only physically not ready for it, but you haven't developed perfect form on the exercises, or likely you haven't, on the exercises, especially during the second week. For example, if you're doing a deadlift and you have an issue with the deadlift, you're going to be repeating that deadlift for 200 sets. You're going to be enforcing and ingraining that technique error. So you want to make sure that you're using perfect form on all these reps. And that's one of the reasons why we stay away from failure on here, so you're able to keep your nervous system relatively fresh and use perfect form on every single set. If you're a beginner, obviously, your recovery is going to be a little bit less than somebody who's been training for a while and is experienced. So if you're an intermediate to advanced trainer, this is a perfect program for you. If you're a hard gainer, or somebody who tends to gain a lot of fat when you're building muscle, this program is perfect for you. Because for a hard gainer, it's going to create an emergency situation in your body where it's really forced to build muscle in order to survive. And that sounds ominous, but it's actually true. Because you're pushing yourself so hard on this program in a very strategic way, mind you. You're not setting out to injure yourself, but it forces you into that emergency situation to build muscle. And if you're the kind of person who gains a lot of fat when you're trying to build muscle, this program also keeps an eye on that by starting with the diet week. You're starting off with fat loss. Then your second massive overload week, you're going to be training so much with so much volume that you're not even going to have to worry about building muscle. You're going to be eating as much as you can, and you may even drop body fat during that time. And then during the third and fourth week, I've got some unique nutritional approaches that are going to help you train hard, gain muscle, and actually minimize body fat gain and likely even lose fat. These last few people in the test group I've run through, they're gaining a good 6 to 8 pounds of body weight and actually dropping 1 to 2% body fat at the same time. So, and these aren't beginners. These are people who've been training 15, 20 plus years. And, that's pretty darn good response for somebody who's an experienced trainer. And if you've been training a while, this is kind of the other type of person that I like to recommend this program to, because like Scott was saying, you see a lot of people just doing the same programs over and over again. You need something different to change things up, to really attack your body from different angles. And the training is different almost every single time you step in the gym, so it's very fun. And you're going to learn a lot, even if you've been training 20, 30 plus years. And, step back, read through the program, take a look at it, and give it a shot. I think you'll be very happy with the results.
No doubt about it. I can't recommend it enough. 2 thumbs up. Like I've been following it for 6 years. It's been a part of my yearly training, and it adds a whole new level of excitement and enthusiasm to your yearly programming. It's just a fantastic design, very unique, very fun. And you mentioned exercise technique. You also have follow-along videos as well, right, to really make sure that people are executing the exercises and the training protocol properly and effectively, correct?
Absolutely, yeah. I do have that as an option in the program. Not everybody feels that they need that, so I basically separated that out so you can get access to that separately. Okay. In the main program, I've got an exercise index that goes through absolutely every single facet of the program, every training technique, every movement, full load of pictures, and then you can also get access to the video library, which is, last I counted, 150-something videos in there. These are all great quality videos. In addition to the training demonstrations, I'm actually talking kind of like I am now, where I'm actually sharing a lot of different tips, tricks, and training techniques over and above what's even in the program itself, and just sharing the knowledge. And that's really what I think it's all about. And this whole video library could be like a giant program product on its own, but when you pair it with the Muscle Explosion program, you'll really know exactly what you're doing every single step of the way. And I think it's an awesome add-on to the program.
Outstanding, man. All right, guys. Like I said, highly recommend it. Nick is one of the good guys out there. Honest, integrity, just puts out killer content. You can't go wrong with any of his programs. But I believe that Muscle Explosion should be a part of just about every lifter's library, just for the fun factor and to challenge your body in unique ways and get out of your own way, break out of your own habits and patterns, and just bring a whole new dimension. You will learn new training techniques in here, and it's going to be a blast. Nick, dude, congratulations again on this new version of the Muscle Explosion program, and you just keep kicking butt, man. I really appreciate you and the work that you put out there.
Thanks, man. I appreciate that.
Thanks.